Yeah.
I do because it's not a selfless thing. It makes me feel like I'm useful.
Yeah, Jenna's my therapy dog.
Yeah.
Here's another thing here's what I like about you though, is you're very reliable.
She is.
I am.
You're reliable. You've helped us out in a jam so many fucking times. I can't even name the amount of times. I mean, you're always there for us. You really. I mean, I hate giving people compliments, but it hurts me to do it.
You bleed.
Especially you, but yeah. But
His dick is bleeding right now.
Yeah. Everything's bleeding.
Discharge.
I have fucking. You
So hard.
No, you have really helped us out in a pinch, and there are things that you do, and I honestly like you are an enigma to me because I honestly believe that what the fuck, why aren't you, because you can act, you're a great actress, you know, what is it going to take for you to get something?
She should have stuck with stand-up and she didn't, remember? She did a few guest spots with you.
Yeah, or even sketch maybe even a little bit. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I loved when I did stand up, except I thought in my mind that it was a whole other career, and I was like, I just got to stick with acting and take acting classes and try and get a manager and try and get I don't really know what it's going to take, guys, to be honest.
It's tough.
It is very tough.
Yeah.
But a lot of it has to do with just being in the pocket still. You know, I've said this before. I don't know if I've said this recently, but I saw that Joan Rivers documentary about standing out in the rain.
She's telling her about that.
You know, you just have to stand out in the rain. You're going to get struck by lightning. And, or there's another analogy about waves, you know, where you're out there in the ocean. Sometimes you'll hit a big wave. You'll ride it for a long time, but sometimes it's dead and the waves aren't there. You just have to stay out there.
I like that.
You know, and the waves are long, sometimes they're short, but just have fun being out in the water.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm anywhere near drowning or feeling like I want to go back to shore and pick something else to do.
Yeah.
I just understand that there's a lot that I don't understand. I don't know how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
But you also haven't had anything devastating happen either.
In the industry?
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of times devastation happens where it's like, I mean, here's a prime example. Chicken. You know who Chicken is?
Yeah, we've talked about
I
him
don't
on
know.
there.
Refresh.
Years ago, there was a guy named Chicken, and he went to the Montreal Comedy Festival. He got like a $500,000 deal at Warner Brothers. Oof. And then he had his own sketch show called Hype. And Frank Caliendo was on it. A lot of people, Danielle Gaither was on it. Shema Tosh, my old roommate, was on it. It was a sketch show on the Warner Brothers. And then he also got that movie X or Triple X, right, where he played the scientist. And then years went by. You haven't heard from him because those things just faded abruptly, which he could probably consider as being devastating because it's devastating not to be on top and in a fall, you know. And then they found his dead body in an apartment in like North Carolina or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think I haven't had anything devastating happen in that sense because I haven't had anything to lose.
Oh, that makes sense.
Like if you have $1 million,
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes sense.
if you have $1 million and you lose it, you're gonna be devastated. Versus if you had a penny and you're like, oh, it fell through the hole. In
But a lot of times, though, but a lot of times, right? It's you'd rather not get that. Like for instance, I'm gonna name a name. Carlos Mencia. I love him. By the by.
Yeah.
I really do. By the by, I love him. Okay.
Times, yeah.
But Mencia was on top of the world. His own show, this and that. And then the world just came crashing down on him, right? He still makes a great living. But he, you know, it's almost as if like, for me, I never really kind of made it, but I always kind of got jobs. So the dream kept staying alive. I never got too big, you know what I mean? I would get like a job here and there. It would fade. I would stay in the pocket, and then I would get another job. It could happen for me, but in many ways, I'm so glad I didn't hit big and then fall deep. A lot of times hitting big and falling deep is painful. It happened to Pauly Shore. I saw Pauly rise to the top and then him being the butt of jokes, and he had to live through that. I don't know if I could do that. It would destroy me.
It seems like it's way harder to recover from that.
You still have hope.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
You still have a
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah.
You know, and that you should hang on to that also. Because high rises and fast falls, I don't know how to do. I also know another girl who, I'm not going to name her name. She did a pilot, right? She was struggling for years. She did a pilot and you got picked up, and the week before the show started filming, they replaced her.
Oh,
That
damn.
happens all the time.
But it
That's
was Sex in the
fucking-
City.
Oh,
And she would have to
damn.
drive by the Sex in the City
The
billboards.
signs.
And then she just left.
Wait, how do you ever get over that? Because
There-
even
there's-
now, Sex in the City is...
It still happens all the time when people just kind of get fired, and then the next thing, or that girl from Game of Thrones who was Khaleesi. They did
The
a
original
pilot.
Khaleesi.
The
She was in the
original
Tudors.
Khaleesi's.
Yes, and they replaced her.
Yeah. I think the funniest thing that Jenna, or it probably wasn't as devastating, but the way I recall it is we were supposed to go to a Dodger game together, and then you weren't able to because you booked the job, and you're like, what's the job? And you're like, oh, it's a commercial. I'm like, oh, what are you? What do you play? She's like, I'm a molecule. An atom.
Your agent.
An atom or something. I was like, what do you mean you're a molecule? She's like, yeah, I think like an actual like hydrogen atom.
Yeah, I was a hydrogen atom.
Well, they had you in a hydrogen atom suit?
Like, it was just your face floating around the screen.
Yeah.
And then when
Yeah.
I got to set, because the hydrogen atom was like the one that they were going to be playing at all the gas stations, on TV.
Yeah.
Lots of money. Yeah.
Lots of money. I mean, it still paid my rent for like a year, but I got there and they were like, oh, you no longer have 17 lines. We're putting you in a baseball outfit. And I was like, what about the atoms? And, you know, the process to book that job was
Yeah.
insane because there were 17 lines and they just had people going in and out and in and out, and they wanted you to be funny when you were talking about science.
So you got fired as a hydrogen atom, and they put you in a baseball outfit.
And then they were like, oh, and you're not saying anything. And I was like,
Oh, I've had that happen
Okay.
before.
another one.
Yep.
I'm there all day. It was with this, remember when I was at the Rose Bowl? They rented out the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
huge budget. So this was a national commercial that I would still be making money
Your
on.
mom, right?
Yeah, so they had originally hired me as a girlfriend, and then on the day, they were like, "So you're gonna be this little boy's mom, and here's your husband." I didn't look old enough, but we did a rehearsal at the Rose Bowl, and we're the last shot of the day. They've got the whole stadium for my part. The director comes out of Village, and he's like, "Yeah, could we just get the mom out of there?" And I'm like,
Oh my god.
what the fuck? And he and no one told me anything. They didn't tell me if they were going to keep shooting, if they were going to use me for something else. They just had me sitting there like, yeah, can you just move out of there for a second? So I just stood there.
Now, what are you thinking at this point?
I'm thinking, I really need this money.
Yeah.
Are they going to at least pay me?
This
What's going
fucking
on?
business is so brutal.
And the thing is that I knew. I told my mom, I was like, there's no way that I can be this kid's mom. I don't look old enough.
Yeah.
There's no way that this is going to work. And
It's like when I get auditions for the head of the FBI. I go, I'm not going to go in. There's no way I'm going to get
The
that.
head of the FBI.
No, I'm being the CEO of like Pepsi.
Yeah.
Can you read? No.
I'm gonna drive to
But
Santa
anyway,
Monica.
so you're sitting there, you're like, I'm too young for this.
no one's paying attention to me. They're
my
They're
God.
rolling because they're like, we're going to lose light. And they've rented out the entire Rose Bowl. They've got hundreds of extras. I mean, it was a production. This director had also directed some of Beyonce's, what was that album?
Oh, Lemonade.
Lemonade.
yeah.
So great director. And I'm just sitting there like, hey, so is anyone, I call my agent. I'm like, hey, just to give you a heads up, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but they just told me to clear frame. And I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, I know this shit happens, but I really need the money. And it was huge national. And then afterwards, I went up to the director because I'm like, hey, so no one's let me know, what's going on. Are we? He didn't explain anything, and then he wrapped everyone. And I was like, oh, okay, so you're not using me. And then he was like, hey, just want to let you know, you were great. You're beautiful. I'm like, this has nothing to do with anything. Why are you
piece of
telling me
shit.
that I'm
This
beautiful?
fucking rat fuck.
And he's like, I mean, you're gorgeous. You were great.
Oh, fuck you. I want my money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like, but you clearly don't look old enough to be this boy's mom. And I was like, I know. Like,
Yeah.
not only did we have an audition and a callback, but then after that, they had another day at the fitting where they took us all into the clients to show who we were.
Yeah.
But it's the industry.
You know what, dude? At that point, I complain.
You say what's the age?
I say something. I go, listen. I'm not an extra. I auditioned. I got the part. This is not professional.
It's not.
You know, you do this process beforehand.
that this doesn't
I can
happen.
get let go at a table read. I can get let go some sort of screen test or rehearsal, right?
Right.
But not on game day,
Shoot day,
bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fucking unprofessional right there, man.
Yeah, and then
You know what I want you to do? I'm going to go on top of that. You're going to tell me the director's name later.
And production company.
And production company. I'm going to fucking burn them on fire.
Like, that guy has so much money.
What?
I mean, they have so much
I don't give a
money.
fuck. That's unprofessional bullshit. What was the product?
Do you remember?
Oh, you're trying to save face, huh?
Yeah.
No, I
I know-
genuinely don't remember.
It was
It was Frank's Hot Dogs.
Frank's Hot Dogs.
No,
Fuck
it was
them.
at the Rose Bowl, and it was with an NFL player.
Oh.
Maybe it was for the NFL.
The fuck you, NFL.
Hey, whole league, that's billions of dollars.
Just make something up. Fuck it, man. Fuck you, NFL. Pepsi.
Oh, gross.
Bastards.
Coca-Cola. Actually, I don't fuck with Coca-Cola, so let's just say it was Coca-Cola.